And another issue I can't asem has to do with a new legislation akopie parliament a minister KT Hammond seeking say yangentum na aban and control cement prices our chrome has saying. We live in the liberal or free market space. So about saying a government budget the responsibility say on the bed determine prices of your first cement no as a form. But the good question I can say, let us assume without admitting that government will be successful in his quest or bid to have this legislation passed. And henceforth, government and the bid determine cement prices am I. The question is, or China say iron rods bulk of shra. Are we going to have another legislation? Or China sugar? You see, it doesn't make sense. That is why I've been telling you that these people not always approach be a far to resolve issue be who has be a far crime western pass. You see, some of these things are cement boy cost over the years of what they are campaigning as if when they are driven by market forces. And you know very well, sir. Most of the near man idea cement no more credible thing and they pay in dollars. So as long as government is unable to control the dollar, and the fact is that inflation, these are market forces. It is out of everybody's control. The only thing a bit me control these forces has to do with competence about bit me show in them and in the efficient management of our economy. As I say, all the economic indicators, everything are off bar, and government is not worried or yet interested in say or try to remedy the situation by ensuring say you bet me put to give the economy in a certain face value then we are adopting a more radical approach by ensuring say the legislation and he's even seeking to threaten say overturn cement now will go beyond a certain price. That is how silly the situation has become. You see, companies no more cement and today it's very easy for some of these companies to move their plant away from this country, because in recent time we saw say a lot of these companies moved away from Ghana. Now no me catch about team where I am from Nkrabre Mbesi Lepton. And the plants and almost the cost of production in Ghana are very high. So they've moved everything, they've gone to Nigeria. And now on social media, I mentioned a number of Nivea, they've moved away, and there are several other companies that move away from this country because of high cost of production. Now, no more food, they've gone out, and there are several of them who move away. Look at the oil and gas sector, most of them are even hesitant. And these are symptoms of a systemic economic failure. Our government need to avail his mind to and try say a bit me a final lasting solution. I bet me address these challenges. But so when you think that you can bully your way by putting a legislation or parliament, because parliament today is so easy to get your way. That's a way you go through. These producers have the option either to move their production plant away from Ghana to other countries. That will create cement shortage in this country. And a basta government now saying of a bed in the abaton also. So the best thing we can do, and say, you bet me a subsidize and a government me a find way of making sure say and near mana the year you mano subsidy and I bet you more a certain price stability. Yet a chroma no less about one thing. So we have a number of companies that could afford to buy granted tax waiver to them. Now we owners of these companies and the number for the and the Nigeria for ya or your friend saying as antibody to a way sa abusia for the family and friends and yes tax waiver at the moment in the end no now you over billions of dollars and they tax waiver. But these are production hubs These are profit-oriented business. I am not holding brief for them. I understand and I recognize the fact to say because of the situation, some of these companies, almost who did cheat a month for because no cost shop. They are turn 5 cities. Over at the end, say 20 cities. Nobody is offering you any sensible explanation. And no bit to be them or no what me that's what talk. What price in Monquasia so without recourse to anything. Obisa no send them about my thing. That is the situation I get to home. And I think that we need to find a way of making sure that people do not have the luxury to do some of this nasty stuff I also. But you see, I say Papa Utifie na oma ebo brabone. And don't just start by saying ebo brabone. There must be ade be faili wo fie ho. Either parenthood be faili, fatherhood be faili, and as a motherhood be faili, and as a gross irresponsibility be occasion within the family setup. And the man cry away wayward. So whenever you see kids going wayward, don't start by blaming them because by your move free banner and they create that particular situation. So when you see prices of goods and services going up this way, it's just a fundamental, the economy will be a mismanaging, and it's a fact. We see about things as here now quite a track record and as for Bank of Ghana cry around a boca debim. Bank of Ghana, ya printing press around a boca. A creative inflation, a record high over 54 to 57 inflation numbers and a year. Yesika at performance. So say OPM manufacture cement. You need to sit down and do the cost analysis. Now arrival at a dear bank and a cement in the poor air cost. And as a government, can we do something to remedy the situation? These are some of the legitimate conversations you need to engage them, the sector players, Now, you can meet them halfway by ensuring, okay, these are some of the measures that they go a bit in your prices now skyrocket, a form. But if you decide to adopt this radical approach by ensuring that so the question is, let's say you're subsidy, you're regulating cement prices, are buying the control prices, the government will have to regulate everything, including taxi fare, Uber and as a phone. Buying will have to regulate. But because government and I are so responsible to own the oil and own the oil start free. Because I told you the last time I went to a television station, some program, may call me say me Uber, na 50 cities. By the time I'm me ban, they since we pete. Now I didn't 50 cities, I grow to over 1.8 Ghana cedis. Akaka na 2 million. And you come and make Accra ya. Now then you will ask yourself, say, based on what indicators, and are these companies aging us at the 2 money boom. And somebody can just sit the office and say, oh, in Swamuna, traffic be krumtino, yamfa. Such nonsense. That is what is happening in this country. What is will become that? Because managers and those running this country, more yet. Cement there's bum abe can same baby just to create impression say they care, but trust me, they don't care. Because omuni say you're going to elections. So we jama price no cost right because cement boy and I'm when a jidida cement enche be na turn 15 cities and when a jidida say yeah the 100 Ghana and over a better cement kroma. Under a regime they promise Ghanaians said they are more and they are there. These are the realities that end up pinning the current economic situation in Ghana for home. The expectation is a government will rise to occasion and offer prudent and efficient leadership. But me other market forces na ego haywire no. Atimi agina the nine so na atimi stabilize prices because you cannot control virtually everything. You can't. Especially when these players have an option to the idea and because most of them some of them are foreign owned enterprises are set up doing manufacturing to the idea they and this will not be the first time we've seen a lot of them moving away from Ghana because the here is market conditions as for be prevailing ama so the approach by government isn't the way. First look around you. You have failed the people. all the economic indicators, all the statistics, everything. So said the Mexican, government cannot control everything. A bedroom baby no or mine a better through some and a bit create agitation and whole lot of stuff, a bit create artificial shortage. Obekaya in the past, a month for 1 year man no more hoard. Says Yamanoka said, Matisse cement a short to Ghana. Because government doesn't want them to sell at the prices on panel, and they are not willing to let it go at the price of almost on the boca. And the justification has always been said, dollar no, and it's a fact. So the question is, government now will share man for kutupa say, omonti omone masono. What have you done about the dollar? Cement so me money better a boame. But you see, you can't bully people in a free economy, in the free market space. And yet, adia, yes, so Sunday man so baby. Make sure say, oh, they will name what's in or name mama, everything. And logically, oh, hena name be okay, that's a amount to talk, amount prices in my side, then you can move into intervene, and there will be in whoever so. Because most of these companies over the years and I take advantage, make a Uber, and your Uber, a boat, or some American boat company. Omuno mudi sa class 7 in so muna say adiasa charge nkwasi aso abiko kruno pa omo hu se kruno panyini nim. So everybody can just come and exploit people and get away with it. These are some of the basic things, and they here they will not avail their mind to, because when himself with the boat in Uber some American, nobody's complaining and to about cement, about for a determine electoral choices and as a form. And ya beya ya hwa ye bibia approach aye de chichiro man no utimi hu se obiam enye na dwen se o ya de papa bia de ye beya de anya vote ne na sefo and ade no so ye nye ne ye, because market forces and as I see I tell who see determine some of these prices. Just tell me say we anyway that year your friend say we anyway that year dollar ni ye inflation na ye we ya say into said near bo eba from. Is it? No, it isn't. And at the government level now, you expect to say people will live moderate life as a be. About me inspire the ordinary person, and so I sati a half toss or so. Kufu your moti enemy. Omonson at least or more tight your belt. I say president belt and Jensen or belt hose who cry him over tighting. A guninase and on no didn't now say a quaba. Then we play this kind of game when the actual and the real problem you and I know the state and nobody's willing to do a thing about it. So the ever cost we are not the day, men on ever suffer. Because government ever money too so. And the manufacturers will also revolt. And I've known the day, wow, cement and then as a for no better, or more diamond hands over catch as cement work or so. Even though Dino was yes, what it be could boo. But Obaba, we got Krodo and brand him Obiaya the Ope. And that is the actual problem, as people. So, my argument has always been said, young people, we need to be actively involved in this political discourse here, because we cannot just leave the discussion and the narrative to people within the traditional media. Some of them are just kissing the asses of those in power just for their personal gains and whatever. No? Let us activate a conversation and even a space. Now you're making sure we push for what is right. Irrespective of how you stand across the political divide, making sure your voice is very critical, a very determinant factor. Now vote na yet no men fan konko chekeke because and then made ya wo metfomu. You need to set one kasa way certain indicators be able to say blue box no what take it and whoever you're voting for no really no meet those specifications. So nipa no next time okodu no nya tumi na or atia or bedwene ho de nyansa to ho say no. The people who voted for me are rational people, and I can't just take them for granted. Okay, they see UK and Raya. The Conservative Party, has been in power for over 14 years because David Cameron since in 2010, and they've since been in power. Nemo moye a bit time. Scandals upon scandal. Obekaya started with David Cameron. Emma Theresa May by Boris Johnson ba queen ba bedi 2 weeks oba no e ma ono so begu nanim ase ekoye e na ye fa India ni be kan ho. And so we have circumstances are resignation ni embarrassment na se for na to so ba be si ende and finally people of UK have realized that no, Crawford way cannot take us for granted anymore. If you had the electoral outcome now, and yes, a baptism of fire, like a red card, and nobody show the Conservative Party and then a Labour Party are taking over. That show the power of the people, because they got like being in power for 14 years, you feel like it's safe. Because 14 years they have arrived, nothing was solidify your position, you become unshakable, your faith in the fact that the people maintain you becomes unwavering. But people realize and say, no, these people are taking us for granted. And we cannot continue to will our faith to them and watch them to mess up. Because living conditions for Ghana and but UK in recent times, you and I know and people have been complaining. Mortgages for sika rent. It's not easy. And then normally we tell for the UK mortgage because much of your money will go into taxes and a whole lot of stuff. Living conditions, everything are high. And Nipano have realized, hey, this is the time for us to vote for change. 14 years, that is enough. We've seen enough. We need to vote for change. It will force people to sit up because politicians are such that give you room, painting an impression or a picture that everything is okay. Trust me, they will take you for granted. And it's exactly the circumstances that play out in this country because yes, say go ahead extraordinary circumstances here where you won't see here. You go so restructure your debt. And people are happy to announce to everybody as if say everybody in the country is a fool. Say can you pay money? That is the kind of impression they are creating. Telling people say they are better managers, not because they've managed the economy well, but because they've been able to push yaka and as for baby and everything is okay. They think we are fools. And we are living as such. So at the end of the day, they will continue, they will be emboldened to do whatever they are doing. And Kabesi is saying, Kababi Baby drew a day. We had the cost of living, how much are buying spending and as a form. Baby, a generous CIA, are buying back. I said, or appointed 5 new judges, knowing very well, over the years. My character said, we haven't even gone past the offense of 14. More or less, it has become like an established convention. Making sure say you're regulated because my country as a constitutional framework, I'm facile and all because they envisage the possibility of not ever getting a fool to become president who come and exercise negative discretion by a name ever go haywire. They assume say will be president to be any nyansa and will act accordingly. But that isn't the case. Despite your 14 year, 15. As a sagum, says Yamonokasai, ya pass it to or monam, winning or moba. I cast on the parliament, on the Kama, Yanya 17, and an hour Kufu, the chief justice, as a carbom, say and some for 5 me piso. As a 5 me piso, now you got 22 no. Now, Oko US now, your castle Supreme Court here 9 yes, it's a federal state, I'll call some of the federal way now. Obia or the Supreme Court now, but it doesn't change the fact to say the US Supreme Court, the Supreme Court of the United States of America. That's the federal at the federal level. It doesn't change anything. Whether at the state level, no, they have their Supreme Court. We all know because that is a federal system or more pretty. But it doesn't change the fact to say at the US Supreme Court there are 9 judges. And then Marabia who are teacher Mokete a convention abetoho more established over 164 years, 66 years in year. Because say that particular way now, young go beyond 9, no. It trace it back to 1860. It trace it back to 1860. I can't over about 30 something years, not 200 years. More or less like an established conventional president Biaba or respected that. Why can't we do the same thing? So even 14 no krana, you say nka yeah. So makacha say human behavior anya da bia na yebekwa kwasesa mrade achechire ye ho. Sometimes we need to act rationally and voluntarily. Enya mrabi na achechire ye, and that is the sense that the constitutional framework saw, because we said the judicial space, likely in the future to expand. So the limit koto so say monfa judges say ya ebedu ba bi na circumstances change ya, you might have difficulties in adding numbers. That is why they didn't provide ceiling. But we need to act rationally in ensuring that we don't abuse those powers. Because common sense is enough incentive to dictate to every reasonable mind, say, Ghana's judiciary, any in the good books of the people of this country. There has been a lot of doubt about its neutrality, partiality, its independence, and a whole lot of stuff. So you might not want to do anything that will further deepen and endanger trust and confidence public, a war in the judiciary. President Akufo-Addo in recent times appointed judges more than any president in the history of this country to the Supreme Court. And rather may catch us say, Oko High Court says here, there were over 123 judges. There were over 22 appeals court judges. And there were 15 Supreme Court judges. 2, my catch us one nam kwanso moko, and I'm 5 for saying appeal. So already you have created a certain impression on the minds of people. Say nipana odo moko no, there was certain party affiliation, certain way be like people don't trust the institution. Makacho, the judiciary is our last resort. The very moment the public lose trust in that establishment, we are dead. Because as we speak, I don't know how many people have confidence in Parliament, and how many people have confidence in the executive. So the only hope has to do with the judiciary. And if we go on this tangent where the president feels empowered, arrogantly, arrogate powers to himself, I have it, the mere fact that you have the power doesn't mean that you can foolishly exercise it and capriciously, you can't. I have the power, so I can arrogantly exercise it, or I can exercise it capriciously without recourse to law, order, without any respect, without due diligence. He doesn't care. I say, appointing him. Now, common sense should be enough then to trick you, to tickle you. So, baby, I do deal with again, the judicial trust and the confidence, more important than anything. Because last time I catch you said, you must be a fool to think, say, a judge sitting at their court, giving ruling, and thinking say that ruling is okay, is fair, is in line with law, and as for no, it ends there. To me, say wouldn't answer, because justice, delivery of justice, and when after dispensing justice, the public will be at peace and they will accept it. Because the whole essence of justice delivery is to hold society together. So we deliver ruling, not that ruling or the potential to create chaos, to sow a seed of discord, to create political pandemonium, to create violence, chaos. You end up being obey your mamboya for instead of say obi will render justice. It's the reason why in every dispensation they do it in such a way, say cleaning the, making sure always the gap between the public and the court, very short. So there is that element of trust. I revolve a jelly the two. So when the ruling comes, you might not even agree, and that's okay. Because in recent times, the U.S. Supreme Court ruling by on Trump's immunity. You saw the ruling. It was 6-3. All the conservative judges in India say yes, Trump must enjoy some level of impunity and some level of immunity, because as president in official duty, he cannot be prosecuted, even if it doesn't go well. But unofficial assignment, the president can be prosecuted. and the work kind 3 judges now or more dissent. I have the full, it's 119-page ruling. So what kind ruling na or more dissent yeah. They were even attacking their fellow judges on the same panel. I had the non 9 panels. Yes, we concur unanimous 11. I didn't think created doubt. Emma, the US president nankasa, the leader of the free world nankasa, Joe Biden, press conference said no. Ruling the Supreme Court na dia ban dangerous. He disagree and he thinks that they could have done better. This is a president criticizing or no ankasa the Supreme Court ruling and so forth. We say it's okay. But he respected, he accepted because there is trust and confidence. I bind the two. That is the most important thing. So never do anything that will take away trust. Never do anything that will take away confidence. Never do anything that will take away that absolute and unwavering linkage between the people and the court. But unfortunately, that is what Akufo-Addo is aggressively seeking to endanger. In the past, he has endangered it. We've gotten to a point that some people have threatened to the court to Kromunkobi. And you and I know, say, people at the court to see Chayane, Oko radio so a hona ye di aware sem no ko Kumasi a sebi where's am 40 radio what take now ferry. You see, all these are symptoms of a broken system. A symptom of a broken adjudicatory process. Man for any trust a woman. Or then you didn't kunya court for the Osika about it may not be true, but that is the impression created out there. So people feel comfortable going to radio stations to sit in front of an ignorant woman, or just say, only left from the right. They'll rather take such issues, make mockery of the individuals, get trends on social media, and that is it. I know the day, problem, no. A bill to us, a cocoon or my wife from cry after the my a bill to a bill nuro, a bill brew, a bill. But in a civilized world, I you men day. Everyone said, "Oh, me Bobby, me you go to court because you know you get redress." But people don't trust. So it is the responsibility of duty bearers to do everything to ensure, say, we repair that broken trust. We do everything to amend the cracks so that we can consolidate public trust in these institutions. Make sure, say, a man for will have the cause to trust these institutions. But say your question there, appointment, and I not trying to cover judges be from a lower court, and then we want to cover judges from your friends saying lower high court straight to Supreme Court, appeals court, common court, no bit appeals court, what turn us for way, because you didn't say way on Kaya, say, and within them, if you talk to some of the judges, they have their own issues. Fortunately, I have few of them as friends, and sometimes when they binum kasa, their frustration in us for quite apparent because when you say aban where was you the way then you are not getting my promotion. And at the end, say at that level, no, you know, yes, I know, say a merit based on whole lot of stuff, but when you know, say you're doing things right, at the promotion exams, at the it's okay. Now we juniors as a crowd from one day school, even council, Supreme Court, because you are not in the good books of the Abang. So at the end of the day, and this is a sector that is seeded with the power to dispense justice, and in their setup, they can't find justice. What do you think will happen? So, food for thought. No name calling, nothing. But you see, we need to do everything to ensure we don't get there because my culture say Chief Justice Semna or can say na cases no doors but say na Supreme Court judges sit as an additional High Court judges your friend is saying appeal court judge. So we say a human that was on the door so to the sense monsoon but say na e bring to me see free so back from 2 steps down by can I say by man for a human. I think we need to. And again, last one. Judge na Odi ato forcing ni Japan when case ya. A whole lot of we are air coswa. Scandals upon scandal tape within as a forum. surprisingly, many listing. What do you think people will say? You see, you don't deepen this perception.